Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. It's a poem by Marianne Williamson. It's been hanging outside my door since the day I put my footsteps back here on Mercier's campus. And part of it is actually a quote that has been in my email for some time now. And it's a poem that has meant a great deal to me, one in which, for many different reasons. And there's a story, that goes along with that for everybody. And I have a story to share that pertains to that poem in and of itself that I wanted to share with each of you today. There is a prayer that I said 5 years ago in my driveway back in Kalamazoo that really that I would consider a bold prayer, and as a result of that bold prayer, I thought was the reason why Heather got sick 6 months later, and that crippled me in many different ways in how I view God and how I view prayer, and the safety and security that prayer brings, and just a lot of questioning. And over the last 4 years, I've done a lot of refining, a lot of soul searching, and I know that we've had conversations here and there in class and outside of class about this journey that Heather and I have been on. And I've learned a lot about who I am and who I was and who I still needed to be and who I still need to be, and what sacrifice and love, and for better and for worse, and in sickness and in health mean. And I think the refinement really began in May of this past summer, where I really started to take a hard look at, okay, if there is a God out there, and if I say that I believe in this God, what am I doing to really start to align myself with his teachings, his word? And I started to dive headfirst into it. I haven't made a hiddenness of that. I'm pretty out in the open about that and where it ranks in my life. And I started reading a lot, and I started praying a lot daily. And there was some stuff that started to happen, like this stirring in my soul, kind of like an unsettling feeling. And I couldn't really put my finger on what it was, but I knew something was going on. And as I kept pursuing, right, this desire to continue to search and dig deeper really started to take a flame. And so much so that in August of this past year, I said my first bold prayer since that time that Heath got sick. And it went something to the effect of, God, do something in me and through me that would unmistakably point to you and not to me. And over the next couple of months, I started reaching out. I wanted to dig deeper. I asked to find a mentor, and just for some spiritual development and leadership development. And that happened in a really neat way, and getting a relationship, mentoring relationship with a couple of guys through Grace, and just a lot of refining that went on, and a lot of soul searching and that sort of stuff. And anyway, what transpired was we got to meet every couple of weeks, starting in the fall, and they really kind of just through conversation brought a lot of things to light about paths and strengths and gifts and that sort of thing, which was really, really neat. And but the unsettling feeling just wouldn't go away. And then little Emma Burkell got diagnosed with Burkitt's lymphoma, and that was a tough time, obviously, that I felt compelled to share with the majority of you that were here, um, as the closeness that Bob Deppen, seeing that was his granddaughter, had as far as a friendship goes, and um, I took it upon myself to pray for that little girl for an hour every day for an extended period of time. And about 2 weeks into it, I realized, holy cow, I don't think I ever did this intently with Heath. And that rocked me and kind of undid me a little bit. And forced me to take a pause as to, what level of commitment I have, just in a lot of different areas of my life. And so I ended up really kind of continuing on that journey and not stopping. And I ended up asking to be considered for a position at the District 2 level as a representative for the Ethnic Diversity Advisory Committee. And ended up getting that in and around the same time that everything was going down with Emma. And it was a super neat professional build, a little notch on the belt as far as that goes. And as I started to talk to the individual that I was going to be taking over for, I found out that there was going to be a conflict as far as their big meeting that they have in January and the DR trip that I would take through our church as the mission lead. And I started to have second thoughts as to what am I trying to pursue here. And fast forward, we get into that trip in January, and the first couple of days down there, like all the preparation, all this spiritual development and leadership development I've been working on and refining on, and I get down there and there's just a block. Typically on that trip, there's just this sense, this acute awareness of what God's doing in and around the lives of all the team members that we bring down, but also all in the community members down there. And I pulled a couple people aside. I said, I don't know, there's just a block. And I was frustrated and I was angry. And during like the third day of that trip, we had some devotional time that morning where we got alone, and I went back into the room and I got angry and I'm like, God, what are you doing? I prepared so much. I'm in such a better place spiritually, and there's nothing right now. And as clear as day, the question was posed to me, why don't you trust me with your wife's illness? And that kind of rocked me. And I tried to dance around it, and to no avail, because he kept pressing. And he's just like, you need to trust me with her. You need to trust me that I know what I'm doing, and that the time will come where I will use this for my glory. And he asked me to give it to him. And I got down on my knees and I wept, and I did. And there was just this enormous weight kind of lifted off my shoulders. And it was pretty profound. And then thinking that, all right, this is good, trip's going well. 2 days later, I get that weight again, and he's just, again, like, you need to choose. You need to choose between this professional aspirational career that you've tried to establish with this District 2 rep on the platform that you are, or what I've called you to do with this DR trip. And I wrestled with that for a while and realized that I kind of pursued that without really kind of getting any kind of insight or guidance from him, and seeing if this is something that he really wanted me to do. And so I emailed the president of District 2 and was very honest and transparent about my desire and my heart for the DR, and what God's called me to do with that, and how it conflicts with everything here, and asked to rescind my position. And he responded within 5 minutes and was very gracious, and in the words that he said, and no ill feelings and that sort of thing. And that was a big moment for me, because we got back here in February, and that unsettling feeling kept growing larger and larger. Like, gosh, you are up to something. What is going on? And the more I sought, the more this idea of control kept coming up. It came up in our 21-day fast of things, um, and through our church, and through the times of that, and the personal time and the personal prayer, and this idea of asking, what is the one thing, Scott, that you continue to hold on to, that's your safety net. And I dug around for a little bit, and the king kind of came back, kind of hit me square in the face, and said, it's my career, it's what that affords me. It's the safety net that it provides. It's tenure, and what tenure is at a higher educational institution, and what it allows for my two girls and college education and access to things. Um, and there was a moment where he was just like, "That's right." He's just like, "I ask you to give me everything, not just pieces of you. I want all of you. I want your heart. I want your soul. I want your mind." And that's different for everybody. And he's been working on me as to what that means for me, and what what that looks like in my life. And so, and the beginning of March happens. The Mexico trip is an amazing experience. For those of you who have been on that trip, you know what that week is like, both from a medical side, but on a deeper level, a personal and spiritual side. And something in me during that trip kind of uncorked, and stuff just started to spill out. And those of you who were on that trip saw that on that Thursday when I got the chance to speak to each of you, and um, that was a profound moment for me. And so we came back home, and we had our next follow up, and it just so happened that the other guy that was on this, the mentoring thing, wasn't able to be there, and so it was just me and Pastor Derek, who is the lead head pastor at Grace. And so we talked for a while, got caught up, and he asked, or he said, something. He's like, "Okay, I don't have any other way to saying this, but I need you to hear something." He's just like, we've been watching you for the last year and a half, and really kind of just taking a look at how you do things, how you work, how you lead, your heart for the Lord. And we've been praying about this for a while, and we've got some big things that we're trying to take on here, and we'd like you to prayerfully consider seeing what it looks like for you to take on a leadership position here at Grace. And I said, wow, that's a pretty big deal. I said, "You do know that my wife is going to flip when she hears something like this." And he's just like, "That's why we're asking you to prayerfully consider." And so I went home, and that was Friday, and Heather's just like, "So what you guys talk about?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing at all. Just getting caught up on things." And then Sunday came around, and the girls went to my in-laws, and she's like, "Okay." She's just like, "What did you guys really talk about?" And so I kind of shared what he said. And she stopped me dead in my tracks, because I was expecting the reaction of, "No way." And she said this. She's like, "Well, the Wednesday prior to your meeting, I was having my quiet time and reading, and then doing some praying and some just silent kind of stuff. And as clear as day, the thought popped into my head of, they're going to ask Scott to take on a leadership position at Grace." And my jaw dropped when she said that. And so, over the next couple of months, there was a lot of praying. There was some fasting. There was more praying. There was conversations. There was meetings with individuals associated with Grace. There were a couple of formal, process procedure things, interviews, if you want to call them that. And at the end of the journey here, you're getting this video to let you know that I'm stepping down from my position here at Mercyhurst to take on this role at Grace. I know that this news is it's difficult for me to share, obviously, because of how much this place means to me and this program means to me, and you all especially mean to me, both those who are in the AT program, and those who are associated with the sports medicine department or Mercyhurst in general, and all of you alumni that might get the chance to see this. I got a tap on the shoulder from God. That is undeniable. I have to see where this goes. There's too many things that have lined up over the last couple of months that I can't argue against. I can't even try to rationalize any substantial way of saying no way, not now, kind of thing, because there's nobody that does that in scriptures, right? If there's a person that gets tapped on the shoulder, they drop everything and they go. And I know that's crazy, and I don't even know if you're paying attention anymore because this video is almost 16 minutes long already, but my heart and my spirit and my head tell me that this is the move that I'm being asked and called into, and I would be a hypocrite if I didn't follow my mantra that I have told so many of you, that when your gifts align with your passion, you find your purpose. And it's a constant evolution of that. And I'm not saying that my purpose isn't to teach. I'm not saying that it's not to mentor. I'm just saying I can't ignore this call. And so as of August, I will assume this full-time position at Grace and relinquish my role here at Mercyhurst. So how do you end something like that? I'm not going anywhere. Obviously, I'll still be in Erie. You'll be able to come and see me at Grace if you desire, and we'll figure out here in the months to come what a presence on in and around campus might look like. We will begin the search for the new program director here very soon. We're working on getting that description finalized and sent out, and I'd be lying to you if we hadn't already reached out to a couple of people that we would feel is a really good fit for it. But that's still yet to kind of be determined. But there are a couple of things left that I want to say. To the rising sophomores, I've got to watch you from afar. Obviously, Sue has you for the majority of the classes, if not all of them. I have some of you as advisees, but from what I've heard from Sue, from what I've seen, and just your actions and your dedication, you are a very bright future for this program. You will be more than capable of carrying on the legacy that has been created far before me and will continue on far after me as an alumni. I'm not saying as a program director. I'm speaking as an alumni. You will do this program very well. To the rising juniors, I asked you some very hard things to do this past year. You challenged me, and in return, I challenged you. And I think you are on the cusp of understanding the greatness that is within inside you. It's not an easy thing to go through this major. There are ups and downs and trials and tribulations, and that's typically what sophomore year is for most people. And you are coming out of it prepared to handle the second half of your collegiate career. I'm so excited to see where that will take you over the next 2 years, and how that will be greatly enhanced with the people that will come on to support. To the seniors, it's never easy to do this, and it's always, for some odd reason, that rising senior class that you create the tightest bonds with, because you've been around for so long, and the craziness and the long hours and the conversations on the couch, and you all bought into a philosophy and a way of doing things and a culture that, the classes before you kind of laid and took, direction from Sue and I, and it became, gosh, it became a part of who you were and how you operated. And I'm sad that I don't get to be a part of your senior year. And I'm sure you're hurt like many other of the people that are watching this. Maybe feel betrayed, but know that that's not my intention. I think you know me well enough to know that I've always claimed that this program is not my program. It's not Sue's program. It's your program. You don't need me. You don't need Sue, because we don't take your test at the end of the day anyway. You do. And the whole goal of everything that we do is to get you to realize and to see that it's your program and it's your path and it's your education, and you have everything inside of you that you need to be successful. I ask you to embrace that for me. I ask you to hold one another accountable this senior year so that you leave the program better than when you came in and found it. That is what a legacy is all about. That's what I hope you will do. To the alumni that I've been privileged to know, I thank you. I thank you for letting me be a part of your life. I thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. I thank you for representing Mercyhurst. I thank you for representing who you are. You are the shoulders that grads will continue to stand on, just like the shoulders that you stand on of those alums that stood before you. And that's the amazing thing about this program. That's the amazing thing about this AT family, is that it's not about one, it's about everybody else. It's outward focused. It's about investing in something bigger than yourself. For me, being a part of that for the short time that I've been here, it's an honor. It's such an honor to come back and be able to serve in that capacity. It is my hope that you will find it in your heart to understand. I'd love to stay in contact, obviously. I won't be going anywhere. You'll be able to see me on Sundays if you choose to, or I might be able to make a visit here and there when the time is right. So I guess this is me signing off. I will be here through the summer working on the transition to kind of hand the torch off. There's a lot of things that need to be done between now and then, and so you will definitely still hear from me. You'll definitely get emails from me, you soon-to-be sophomores, as far as acceptance letters go and all that kind of stuff, and placements, and there's just a lot of stuff that still needs to be done. So it's not like I'm cutting the cord and saying I'll never see you again kind of thing. But for for all that it's worth, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for believing in me as an educator. Thank you for believing me as a person. And I hope that you have taken half as much that I have received from all of you. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you so very much for that. And remember, it's not about the initials after your name that will define you. It always has, and it always will be who you are inside and the gifts that you have been given that will define who you are. I love you all.